Hey everyone, my name is Kabi. Today we're going to watch the Light Against Light game that the guys shared on our Discord server. So Joshua Lim will be featuring in the game once again. It is him, I think, actually sharing the battle. And his opponent is player number 3 ABE, which we more commonly know as Vorus, his previous nickname and Discord nickname, so I believe I'm gonna call him that, so please don't be confused. And then we're gonna see the match on this mid-sized map, one of the recent ones. We may call this recent because it wasn't like the last week, probably the second part of last year, but anyway, one of the maps that came in the last pack we added to the game, I believe. We also have a couple of maps under the belt to add in the game relatively soon, by the way. Winter map included, on which we just need to, how do I call that, well, make a small adjustment to the different colors of the interface to make sure it's visible and you can really recognize those symbols and marks on the map, because it is white and we never had the white maps before, so we need to tune it a little bit still, and also the other biome maps we have to add to the game soon too. So anyway, it is probably in the upcoming month, so during February pretty much. And right now, yeah, again one of the recent maps, and we can see Vorus sending off his swordsman to the enemy's place. More or less the build orders are similar, but actually they differ too. I believe that Dwarves didn't start off with a sawmill and he only has 10 workers so far, so he decided to prioritize the tier 2 timing, so he already has the second tier main building, while his opponent is only making it. At the same time, Joshua Lim already got the 2 racks, so that probably means that, I don't know, he's gonna play Warsmith, I believe, since the Dwarven Forge is coming. I'm not a fan of 2 racks Warsmith, to be honest, but maybe I just didn't face the players who's good at this build. But anyway, we can see also Altar of Heroes and Elven Treaty in it. So this looks to me like an archer bombardier strategy probably. And if it is that, I'd suggest to add more swordsmen actually, because you wanna keep those as the front lane for some time, and you're probably not gonna be building, not gonna be hiring any more melee units anytime soon, so this is why you really want to have more swordsmen in the beginning, while you don't yet have that elven tree, so you can't hire your archers yet. But we see Joshua Lim not adding any more swordsmen, so he sits back on 2, and in the meantime Vorus on the second castle and with the 2 factories, so it seems that the guy is gonna play quite a bit of helicopters, and build order like this usually scales to mass bikers quite smoothly. Oh well, actually it is princess, so I'm kinda a bit clueless why did he even need the Dwarven Forge, so we may call this a bite probably. Oh, by the way, Joshua Lim tried to bite the rats to actually kill the enemy units, but ended up just losing his worker, the one he scouted with. And meantime, Vorus sends his first 3 helicopters across the map to the enemy's position. Oh, no. We see somewhat a fancy use for the Dwarven Forge, because Joshua Lim goes for artillery tower now. Alright, so I take it, and now Vorus coming with helicopters, and his opponent sees that he actually doesn't have any anti-air yet. Immediately adding the crossbow tower. Vorus though started with attacking the workers, but decided to opt for that crossbow towers in order not to let it to finish. And obviously, since there is the elven tree, now the first archer pop up. I'm not sure if I really like this targeting, by the way. I feel it like if you already see that there is the elven tree, then there will obviously there will be archers popping up, so they will overcome the helicopters sooner or later. So that means that you won't be sitting in the enemy's base forever, and that means that you probably just want to do as much damage as you can to the economy and run away. So then there is no meaning, and it makes no sense to really take a straight fight to the crossbow towers and to the archers. But Varus decided to go for it. Maybe the part of this decision is that he really needs a bit of attention here back in the base, because Joshua Lim decided to go to the counterattack, where he did find a bit of success, actually. So it was a good trade, I think, and a good take. Alright, so Joshua adding more workers, as he lost 3, I believe. He started off with 12, now he only has 9. And the middle chest is about to pop up quite soon. In the meantime, Vorus still building copters. Not switching to anything else, just adding the archers to his dwarven setup. And Joshua Lim is scouting with a swordsman, seeing the Tower of Mana in front of the enemy's base. And that means that Vorus is about to take up to the 3rd tier, probably is aiming for bikers now. And Joshua Lim is building an interesting Tower of the Light Magic. I like this positioning. It probably can be helpful against an elemental, and also it protects your... well, that's gonna be yours, well, of mana from the enemy, but you can't really protect the tower itself if the whole enemy's army is coming. And the Vorus immediately reveals his own Tower of Light Magic here. It seems to be an important position, but I honestly haven't seen it before. But it seems that it's just me, because both the opponents seem to be aware of this technique, right? So another tower's being built. Well, honestly, I'd like to see Joshua blocking recapturing this by just standing on the high ground. But probably he would have sacrificed the unit for that, because Bombardier has a high attack range. He uses his activity now, active ability I mean. And here comes the first healer, trying to save the day for the princess mostly. Joshua is already far to the 3rd tier, having the Altar of Heroes already. Not having enough resources to hire Bombardier though. Princess is about to use a Fan of Arrows. Varus is being quick with pulling back, so no arrows hit the dwarves. And he just destroyed the Tower of the Light Magic. Keeps this position to his name. This tower's still here, so yeah, probably Joshua can acquire that chest with a bear worker. while Voros decide to take more units to take his. And yep, obviously here we can see the factories being upgraded. Voros aiming for the biker switch, also adding the sanctuary. I'm not sure if he really considers wind mages or something like that.
Now or never.
I'd bet that he just is about to heal the units. As simple as that. Well, he gives quite a bit of space to the enemy, so Joshua will probably be able to push Varus back. Interestingly though, Joshua decided to choose Paladin. I was expecting Bombardier, to be honest, because all of his army is ranged, and if you have a lot of ranged things, you gotta stop wanting melee things, how I feel it. It's quite plain though why Joshua decided to go for Paladin, because he just wanted to have at least something in the front lane, but I just feel it like when you have a lot of ranged, you don't need the front lane anymore, because no enemy's melee units, no enemy's front lane can even reach you. So you want even more ranged, and the enemy really stops reaching you. This is why Bombardier is great with the archers, because Bombardier just assaults and the archer keep back and don't let anyone to come close. But at least it's kind of how I perceive this. I don't like it that Joshua didn't pay attention and didn't recapture the mana well. And also he's about to lose his princess if he's not gonna micro it, but he actually babysits it. So he pulls it back to the healers, so healer starts to heal the unit, I mean the hero. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but the healers casually just heal what is the closest. So you can't target heal, and almost all the newcomer players ask for it, but what we suggest though is that you micro the units, so you just come it closer to the healers so that the healers starts healing it. We don't really want to add another button for the unit that is also unique in the game, so only this unit will have this button. They don't really like it. So we want to keep it as it is, so you need to maintain and kind of learn to come back to the healers if you want them healing something particular. And the healers always try to keep in the middle of the squad. Now they kinda slightly tend to lag behind, because in the current Battle Logic version they don't refresh that middle position too often. But in the latest version we added that refresh rate. So when you guys receive the new version, and when everyone will be in that version, so that means that we will kind of ban the old versions. They will not be compatible anymore, so all the games will be on the new battle logic, and then the healers will keep in the middle of the squad more strictly. So they will react more swiftly when you change the direction. And it will make it easier to come back to them, so you won't have to go like far behind your actual squad. Here though, yeah, lagging a bit behind, because still not the quickest refresh rate of that position. So yeah, just little insights how the unit logic work, you know. I'm gonna make shorts about that soon, by the way. So subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss that. And yep, it is Mountain Elemental to appear soon, or rather Summoning Stone first. And Voros received, Voros is playing with his biker maxed out supply. What he was going to do from the beginning using Meteorite on top of the archers, but Varus isn't playing light as his main faction. Varus is a dark player, so his Meteorite is probably of the low level. This is why he lacks damage a bit, so all the archers remained on quite high health, and that adds Joshua Lim an ability to actually capture that elemental and keep pressing, keep pushing. So Varus obviously play this game for light to make some daily reward, daily errands, and he might be underleveled, more or less. Okay, here comes the Fox Rider from Joshua. I'd like to see Fox Rider attacking Bombardier actually, but Joshua decided to go for Biker. You wanna keep your Fox Riders away from the Guardsmen, but it is a red Guardsman, right? So it wasn't a treat for Joshua Lee. In the meantime, Mounted Elemental having fun with the Sanctuary, which appears to be the closest building on the path, on the road. That guy always just keep the closest building on the road. Yep, and Joshua decided to actually pull back. The reason for that is apparently that the units are low. I'm not sure if the hero is low. Hero is full. I don't really like it. I feel like he could have killed more stuff, especially Bombardier, but well, it is Joshua's choice. He's not adding more production though, but he also spends money quickly. He's not on the high bank. So Joshua decided to use Meteorite. Everything was low, so everything just died in the area of the ability. And meantime the Joshua comes back. Doesn't really make sense to me, because he doesn't even have much more comparing to what he used to have in the previous fight when he decided to pull back. So he has pretty much the same stuff, but now Varus has more. So I don't take it as a good decision out of Joshua. Well, for Varus there is no decision here. He just needs to max out when he can. So he sits back, lets his enemy to kinda die off him. I probably would like to see him protecting the mana well from above. Joshua though does the weird stuff. Oh, he decided to protect the enemy's well. This is probably a misclick out of Varus. Not a greatest play, something went wrong. Varus play on the emulator mostly, on PC. I'm not sure if he uses Nox or BlueStacks, but our game is not really optimized to play on the emulators. It doesn't work good on them sometimes, because they don't emulate greatly, you know, and we don't really... How do I call that? We are not willing to spend resources or time to optimize it for emulators, because we make a mobile game. And anyway, Varus decided to tap out here. He decided he's been pressed too hard to the base, and that means that Joshua Lim comes on top, wins a good player on his secondary faction probably, but still an interesting game where Joshua overcame with what we may call not the meta army composition, but with archers against mass biker, which is pretty much meta stuff. Also a nice positioning with the towers, so I think an enjoyable game. And I wanna remind you guys that if you wanna share your game with us, please join the Discord server that you can find in the video description. And there is a channel that's called Share a Battle, and you can drop us a screenshot from the battle so that we can see it. And if it's interesting, I can film it probably. So anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.